Hey friends, welcome back to Beer and Beauty. It's Kasha here. May favorites. That's today's video. It's gonna be my May favorites. May was a super hectic month. It was completely, utterly insane. The first day of May I spent finishing up my trip over to Cuba in Florida. And that trip, you can hear a little bit more about that in my Cuba packing video, as well as my April favorites video, and just like throughout my videos. But on May 1st, I'm gonna talk a little bit about my travel. I have been so crazy busy just because I ended that trip and then I started getting ready for a really busy festival that I work every year, and then my sister's wedding happened, so I haven't done a ton of makeup this month. But there's a couple skincare products I want to talk to you about, a couple lifestyle things, couple travel things, couple media things, so let's go ahead and get into it. But first, it's today's beer of the day. It's a beer called Matsurika. Yeah, I think it's from Japas Brewery. They're very Japanese inspired, but they have a facility in New York. I think they're basically a New York brewery. And this is a bohemian style pilsner with jasmine flowers. And I was just really attracted to its like beautiful, I don't know, like minimalist kind of earthy jasmine kind of Japanese inspired kind of artwork. I don't know if that description was a little bit too wordy, but I tried a little bit of this at a tasting over at Provisions a little while ago, and I'd like to try it again. So let's go ahead and give it a shot. Cheers. Very pilsnery. Reminds me of a PBR, but it's a little bit, I don't know, nicer than that. I remember it being a lot tastier during the tasting. Right now, I just keep thinking that it tastes very much like a pilsner. But it's very kind of like refreshing and light, drinkable, and just kind of like, it's got kind of like an organic taste to it, like a very fluffy, light nature to it, and I think that must be the jasmine in it that's making it taste that way, so cheers to that. It's tasty, it's very nice, and I feel like I kind of feel fancy drinking it just because the can is so pretty. And it's 5%, which is nice and light, which is probably good for me right now because I have a little bit of a cough that I'm fighting. The weather's been all over the place out here in New England. Like one weekend it's hot, and the next weekend it's in the 50s or in the 40s, and then it's in the 80s. Like the weather's just all over the place, and it's made me sick. Not only that, but this month has been pretty stressful. But let's go ahead and get into talking about my favorites, because some of these favorites have been tiny little pleasures in my heart that have been keeping me going through this month nicely. So the first thing I want to talk to you guys about is this scrub from Shea Moisture. It's a mommy all over body scrub with raw shea and capuca, and it's also got passiflora and pistachio oils. The scent of this body scrub, I just started using. I've had this kicking around for a while because I bought it at TJ Maxx back in November, but I was trying to like use up whatever body things I had going on at first before I started using this, and it is delightful. The smell of this is definitely a pretty pistachio-ish. It's got that delicious like kind of buttery pistachio ice cream scent. It's so nice, and it claims to like help promote elasticity. I think the reason it's called the mommy scrub is it's because it's supposed to nourish and moisturize your skin in order to prevent stretch marks for, you know, expecting mothers. I think that's really nice. I think it definitely does a really good job of moisturizing. Like I feel like after I use this scrub, unlike any other scrub I've ever used, I don't really have to moisturize afterwards because my skin just feels moisturized. I will say that as a scrub, it doesn't scrub well enough for my liking. Like I like it to be a lot more exfoliating than this was. But it's worth it for the beautiful smell and how hydrating it is, and it's just like a really delightful experience using this in the shower. And it does exfoliate a little bit, but because of how gentle it is, I guess it would be a really good everyday scrub to use, like an everyday body wash. It's already half gone. I've only opened it up earlier this month, and it's already half gone because I've just been really loving to use it. And I like squeezing out like a generous amount. I really love just lathering it all over. It doesn't really suds up but I still feel plenty clean because of how beautiful it smells. It's got a little bit of like grit to it, but not too much. It's very much a gentle exfoliator, a gentle scrub. It says here, squeeze onto a washcloth. I've just been using my hands, and then sometimes I use one of those gauzy little puffs. But I feel like the gauzy puffs don't really work so well, but yeah, I would definitely recommend this. I'd probably get it again. Next up, I'm probably gonna purchase a scrub that's a little bit more exfoliating, because I feel like I not having something like that deeply exfoliates has been hurting my skin. Not like physically hurting, but like it hasn't been doing as well as I'd like it to be, because this exfoliator isn't really designed to be a deep exfoliator. But still highly recommend. Smells delicious, very hydrating, delightful shower experience with this stuff. Love it a lot. So the next item I'd like to share with you guys is this cleanser that I've been using all month, throughout the month of, what month is it? May. Or it was. It's the Garnier Skin Active Clearly Brighter Argan Net Exfoliating Cleanser. I love this cleanser because, well, it's my favorite cleanser from the drugstore that I think I've ever tried. I actually got this as a free sample in an Ulta order, like, you know how you get to pick whether you want like a skincare sample or what have you. Always pick the skincare samples, because I feel like the skincare samples tend to be way better than the makeup samples. Anyway, I got this nice little deluxe size sample of this cleanser, and I've been using it like all month long, and it's still like, I can't tell how much product there's left in here, but I feel like there's plenty left. It lathers up really nicely. It is a nice like foaming cleanser. It does have a little bit of like little granules inside. I think they're like nut particles, but they're not like the St. Ives apricot scrub kind of granules. They're much gentler, and not only that, the formula, the consistency of this cleanser is pretty viscous. So therefore, if you wanted to, you could take the granules and gently roll them over the surface of your skin, and that kind of exfoliates it very gently. It doesn't dig into your skin and cause broken capillaries and what have you. So if you are scared of harsh physical exfoliator in that way, know that with this cleanser you can just kind of roll it over the granules over the surface of your skin, and it's very gentle and it's really nice. You know, this is like a physical exfoliator done the right way, I think. It smells beautiful. It has like a really great like citrusy scent. I think that's the fruit acid blend that's in here. It's a little bit wet because I use it in the shower often, but fresh kind of citrusy scent that's not like fragrant, like overly fragrancy. And I definitely feel like the vitamin C that's in here does great things for my skin too. I definitely feel like every time I use this, my skin is brighter. I've been stopped twice trying to describe this cleanser. But yeah, really good cleanser, does a really great job of cleansing. It's a great second cleanse. Fruit acid blend and the vitamin C makes for some really great ingredients that are really good at refining the pores and balancing the skin tone and brightening, and I like it a lot. I recommend it. I don't know if I'll pursue it anytime soon, but it's a really good affordable option. So I've been really enjoying that in the month of May. This has been like the main cleanser I've been using. So that's a cool one. I've got another body skincare product here. This is from L'Occitane. This is the Amande Concentré de lait almond milk concentrate body moisturizer. Much like everything L'Occitane makes that smells delicious, it has like this beautiful, it's definitely a fragrance smell, but it's not overly perfumey. It complements well the shower oil from L'Occitane as well, the almond shower oil. That one's a little bit more perfumey, but I love the smell of it. So, and this one's a little bit lighter. It smells the way it feels too. Like it's got a really beautiful lightweight texture that just kind of disappears into the skin really nicely. And it's really, because it's so lightweight, it sinks into the skin nicely, makes my skin really soft and touchable, and it's not greasy whatsoever. It's been the moisturizer I've been using all month long. It is pretty damn nourishing, but without being too greasy, too thick. It's just wonderful. I would definitely enjoy having it again. I also love this like luxurious glass jar it comes in. It is just nice, luxurious, and heavy. I really love L'Occitane. I know that their business practices can be kind of shitty sometimes, but their products are just so damn good. Like, if you're not somebody that's bothered by fragrances, you might enjoy some L'Occitane products. I love me some fragranced French products. Like, the French really understand fragrances, I think, in a lot of ways. And they've produced a lot of great skincare, I would say. And L'Occitane is definitely a brand that is true to that fact. And yeah, it's been a good body butter for me to use to keep my psoriasis at bay. It definitely nourishes my skin in that way. It doesn't exacerbate any of my skin issues. It just moisturizes. It's a really good body moisturizer to have during the summertime, I think, during these warmer months, because it is a little bit lighter weight, so it's really good at sinking into the skin without feeling too greasy. In the winter, I like to use like kind of thicker creams just because I really need something to deeply nourish and kind of protect my parched, dry, flaky winter skin. And this will still do that in the winter as well. It will still be very nourishing and prevent a lot of bad like dehydration and such, but I just like having a little bit something more heavy duty in the winter and something a little bit more delightful and lightweight during the summer. I don't know if I'll repurchase this anytime soon. I'd like to have it back in my life again, but I don't know. I'm kind of like turning into a body cream enthusiast. Like I'm very familiar with the Josie Maran body butters, the Body Shop body butters, the Lush body butters, Hawaiian Moon, Bum Bum Cream. I've tried a lot of really good ones, and there's so many of them that are great. And this one goes up there into that repertoire of great body butters, but I think the ones I've tried from Lush and Josie Maran kind of outperformed this one, but this one's really great. It has been my favorite this month. It's been the one body butter I've been using. I've been using this and then like coconut oil on some days where I'm trying to like be a little bit more heavy duty, but yeah, on my non-coconut oil days I use this, and my skin has been in very good shape. Like it a lot. Okay, so next items I'm gonna share with you are gonna be the 2 items that I picked up from Ebates from this new brand called Brush Beauty Balm. Brush Beauty Balm is like this new skincare line that was recommended a lot by Sir John, which is Beyonce's makeup artist, and they had a little section in the Alcon booth where they were selling some of their skincare, and I don't know, I was just like, I just had good vibes about it. I had never heard of this brand before, but as soon as I came back from Ebates with these products, and I'm a big fan of oils, and I was running low on toners, so I decided to pick up the Estrella oil and the facial toner. And I will have to say, this toner, I've only had it for a month, but I've been cooking through it really quickly. It's become, I haven't tried too many toners in my life, but this one's definitely one of my favorites. This toner is a great in-between between the fresh rose toner and the Kiehl's Calendula toner, the really herbally one. I feel like this is a really good in-between that. Like, I feel like this toner would be really awesome for oily skin that would help kind of resurface the skin and also control oil. But at the same time, I felt like this was really nice on my dry skin too. I felt like it was a really good first layer of moisture after you cleanse your skin and you kind of strip a lot of the moisture out. A toner is a good way to give smaller molecules of moisture that penetrates a little bit deeper into your skin than a regular moisturizer would, and I felt like this toner does that for sure. And I just realized that when I was describing the cleanser, I was just talking about I felt like I had talked about it before, and the reason for that is because I mentioned both of these products in my morning skincare routine that I posted recently. It was like 2 videos back or something like that. And yeah, these are the items I've been using Hello? Why am I not in focus? Okay, here we go. Yeah, I've been loving having them as part of my skincare routine. I feel like my skin is in really good shape right now. Like, I felt like I figured out a skincare routine that's really working. Like, I feel like I have no real issues with my skin right now. It's not too dry, it's not dull, it's not flaky, it's not psoriasis, it's not broken out. Like, my skin is in just really good shape right now. The only thing is that I've got like my freckles popping out, but I like my freckles, so that's not really actually a problem. This has been a great step in a really comprehensive, highly functioning skincare routine. And what it says on the bottle here is it's hydrating, refreshing, rejuvenating, calming, treats oily skin, sun exposure recovery, anti-inflammatory, anti-acne, and sensitive, and for all skin types. So that sounds like a really good toner, right? And yeah, I definitely feel like it was hydrating. I felt like it was very calming for parched, like sunburnt skin. I feel like that it's really good for that. And it smells like nice and herbally too. So I like that about it too. It has kind of a similar smell to the Kiehl's toner that I've tried before. It's a little bit herbally, and I think herbally toners are really nice. I like that. It smells kind of like tea and then some other herbs like mixed into it too. Really good toner. I don't think I would repurchase this though if I were to. Maybe one day I might repurchase it because it is quite a nice toner, but not anytime soon, just because this bottle I believe was like $18 and it's pretty small. It's too expensive for such a small bottle. I've been cooking through this and it's been really amazing on my skin, but it's just too much money for such a small amount of product, you know. But otherwise, love it. And I might even buy it again just because of how great my skin has been this month. But I'm gonna hold off for a little while just because of how expensive it is. However, this item from Beer&Beauty Balm, I felt like was absolutely worth the money. I think this was in the $25 range, this oil. This is the Estrella oil from Beer&Beauty Balm. And inside we have some jojoba oil, some prickly pear oil, 100% pure squalene, some cold pressed grapefruit oil, and it's organic. I've only used this stuff a handful of times, and I was really excited to use it because it's something that Sir John like talked about and he loved. I just wanted to see how it worked. I was so curious, and I love oils, so introducing a new oil that's like exciting and loved by a really respected artist. I was just very curious. Here's what it says on the bottle for what it does. So it says it's for hydration, it's for skin prep, it's for foundation prep, it's anti-aging, and oil controlling, soothing, healing, increases cell renewal, promotes elasticity, and sensitive for all skin types. So I felt like every time I use this as like a night oil, like as something to top off my skincare at night, I woke up and my skin just looked pretty. I definitely felt like it, depending on what I used it with, there was a couple times it made my skin peel a little bit, but like it was nothing ever like kind of drastic or crazy. And that kind of spoke to its ability to renew cells. So that I thought was cool. That was a cool thing. And I definitely felt like it did a little bit of a physical, like a chemical exfoliation, and that is why my skin felt so pretty. And I did try it as like kind of a priming oil or like an oil to mix in with foundation before, and my skin looked really dewy and just pretty, and just like it made the foundation look very skin-like. So I really loved it for that, and I really want to use it some more for that. I think I only used it as a foundation primer one time, but it was beautiful that one time that I used it. And also the bottle is really pretty. I don't know if you can really see in the camera, but it's got this beautiful like fade that is like, first it's blue, then green, then red and orange to pink. It's really pretty. I think it's made by this woman who just kind of concocts this stuff up in her kitchen. It's definitely got a little bit of a homemade aesthetic, so I think that's pretty cool too. I've been really loving this Estrella oil and that toner. Those are the two things I bought from Beer&Beauty Balm, and I haven't regretted them fully, so that has been really cool. Alright friends, I've got one more tangible object I'd like to show you before I talk and get into the like lifestyle stuff. And it's these slip silk scrunchies from, well, I bought these at Sephora, but yeah, they're silk scrunchies, and I heard about them from Samantha Ravindal. I think she actually mentioned them in one of her favorites videos too. But I've been needing more hair ties just because girl with long hair needs some hair ties, right? And I've been struggling with like breakage a lot lately too, so when Samantha was talking about these, I just became interested, and I saw them at Sephora during the sale, and I decided to pick them up, and I got, you know, there was 3 in here. I immediately lost one right away. And these aren't particularly cheap, but I have been really loving them. Like, they grip the hair really quickly and easily. And, you know, I thought that because they're scrunchies that they're going to be kind of like limp and weak, but no, they've been actually quite good at firmly gripping the hair. And I've noticed that they just don't like bend and snag in my hair that in a way that like regular scrunchies would, or regular hair ties would. And yeah, you could just pull them out of your hair really easily. No hair gets stuck onto them. They've been really nice. They've been really nice in the hair. I don't know if they're worth the price tag, but I've just noticed that they grip the hair really nicely. They keep my hair out of the face really well. I can sleep with these on and it like doesn't damage my hair, and they're just cool. I just like them. That's it. Now let's talk about some travel. So I mentioned at the beginning of this video that I went into May on my trip from Cuba, my work trip, and then we were flying back home in May, and we had a long layover, a 10-hour layover in Houston. And I fell in love with the city of Houston. Like, Houston was so cool. We didn't do too much. We actually went to Discovery Park, and we saw their cool pinwheel installation. That was really beautiful and cool to see. We had some great breakfast at this place called, I forget what it was called. It was like a hotel. It was like a hotel restaurant. And then we went to this brewery called Eighth Wonder. Not only did they have delicious beer and like a cool atmosphere, they were in like this big warehouse that was covered in all this cool art. Like, there was graffiti along the walls of the outside and just great art on the inside. And the folks that were there, that were running the brewery, were so friendly and nice to us. Like, they gave us a bunch of free beer because my boyfriend was drawing caricatures of them. That was really good. And that was really delicious. I was loving the free beer. We ended up spending like hours of it there because Mike was feeling a little bit burnt out on traveling. He was like not really too excited to go explore. But when we went to this brewery and we experienced how nice everybody was there and how delicious the beer was and how cool the art was, he was like himself again. So he really liked it too, and that was really cool to see. And while we were there nearby to the brewery, we went and got some Houston tacos. I heard that tacos in Houston are just to die for, and we went to this place called Two Brothers Tacos. I'll correct it down below if I happen to find out what it was actually called. The tacos were so cheap. They were like $2 a pop, and they were so good. Like, we just don't get tacos like this in the Northeast. In the Northeast, they just don't come the way they do in the South. Like, in LA, I've had some seriously good tacos. Obviously, in Mexico, I've had some seriously good tacos. And Houston, they're very different from the LA and the Mexico tacos. The Tex-Mex tacos were still very cheap and good and delicious, and it was so much better to have those tacos before getting back onto the plane than it was to have any kind of airport food, and especially any airplane food. So, although we only spent like 10 hours in Houston, it was like a really good 10 hours. Really loved Houston. I can't wait to go back. There's one YouTube channel I'd like to mention that I've been watching a lot in May that has been super helpful to me, especially because I feel like it's really helped me learn about different skincare ingredients and in turn has helped me develop a skincare system that has really worked. The channel is called Beauty Within. I've just been binge watching all of their videos. I've loved learning about like retinol and vitamin C. They have like different dedicated videos for different skincare ingredients like vitamin C, vitamin A, retinol, vitamin B. I think vitamin A and retinol is actually the same thing. Niacinamide, what a toner does, what a cleanser does. It's like they have lots of really great product recommendations, and they also throw in a couple like foods you can eat that can help with your skin. And that's actually really important because you can use all the salicylic acid that you want, but if your body reacts to you drinking too much milk and it makes you break out,
maybe it's time to stop drinking milk, you know? Switch over to almond milk or coconut milk or hazelnut milk or oat milk. Oat milk is really good, by the way. So I've been really fascinated by that YouTube channel. I've learned so much from them, and I feel like I owe it to them that my skin's doing so good right now, because I've just like learned so much about skincare, and I've found a skincare system that works for me thanks to their help. So that's been really cool. Thanks, Beauty Within. You're a really good channel, and I'm recommending you. I'll leave a link down below to that channel. It's really good. Check it out. And if you're interested in the skincare routine that I've put together that's been really working for me, I actually made a video about it recently. It's called my AM skincare routine. So I'll leave that down below in the comments, or in the doobly-doo, as John Green would call it. It's the description box, you know what I'm talking about. The last thing I want to talk about in my favorites is something that I might get some dislikes on this video for mentioning, but I loved Game of Thrones. I feel like I'm the only person in the whole world that is more or less satisfied with the ending. I thought the ending personally made a lot of sense. I know nobody else agrees with me, but I thought, you know, it really kind of breaks my heart to hear some people say that, like, oh, the way it ends like ruins everything. The whole series is trash now. I'm just like, absolutely not. I actually personally felt like a lot of the choices that I made sense for me. I totally saw Daenerys' arc panning out this way. I totally understood why she did what she did in that moment, why she decided to, you know, okay, from here on in, spoilers, just warning here, but Game of Thrones spoilers, but you should have been caught up by now because the whole world is in Game of Thrones spoilers at this point. But I understood what happened in Daenerys' head to make her snap. You know, it wasn't good enough for her. After all the things that Cersei had done to her, it wasn't good enough for her that she surrendered. She wanted revenge. And that's what happened. That's what her desire for revenge outweighed the importance of protecting innocent people, or like not hurting innocent people. You know, Daenerys had always been kind of a flawed leader. She was a very temperamental, excitable person, and not only that, if you know a little bit about the background of Game of Thrones, Targaryens have a long lineage of incest and a long lineage of people who turned out to be mad. And the same was true for her. Was it difficult to accept because she always kind of meant well and she had very idealistic goals for the future? Yeah, but you know, sometimes nature kind of outweighs nurture, I guess, if that makes sense. And you know, pretty much everybody I talk to like hates Bran ended up being king in this oligarchy, so to speak. To, you know, as much as I don't think that he's the most exciting leader, I think the fact that he's not an exciting leader allows for a lot of peace. And I think that's why, you know, it wasn't the show writer's decision. I think this is a J.R.R. Martin decision that Bran ended up being king. And the reason he had to be king is because it would allow for the most peace in this world, you know? You know what I mean? You know, like everybody else was a little bit too sexy and evoked a lot, way too much passion out of people, and sometimes passion for the wrong reasons. But Bran was just going to be a very kind of neutral leader, and that's why he made sense as the most peaceful leader. I know a lot of people like really wanted it to be Jon Snow, but Jon Snow's too sexy, and we know in his past people have been too passionate about his decisions, and it led to him getting killed. Of course, it also led to him getting brought back to life, but I don't know. I'm not mad at Bran being the leader, and I thought it was pretty cool how yet again Tyrion, my main guy, was able to talk himself out of getting killed again. What else do I want to mention about this? A lot of people were upset about how Cersei didn't get we didn't get our revenge fantasy with the Cersei's storyline, you know. We were expecting for her to suffer a really painful, cruel death, but The fact that her death ended up being kind of nice for her, it was actually kind of a pleasant way to go out for her, just kind of speaks to how in life sometimes terrible people have really nice things happen to them. You know, sometimes life is unfair in that way. Sometimes kind, amazing people have cruel things happen to them, and then sometimes cruel, awful people have really nice things happen to them, and that's just life, you know? In the end, I felt like the whole series talked a lot about how rulers are flawed and how people are generally not 100% good, and they're not 100% bad. Most people are somewhere in between, you know? Some people have redeeming qualities, even though they're overall terrible people, and some people are really amazing people, but have some terrible qualities. And I knew that the ending couldn't possibly be like a beautiful, perfect Disney ending. I knew that Daenerys couldn't survive this. Like, I knew that if other people from the series that we love were to survive, Daenerys could not survive, especially Jon Snow. Like, as long as Jon Snow was alive and Daenerys was alive, he would always be a threat to her. So both of them couldn't exist in the same world. It was just not going to be possible. So I saw that coming. But I totally understand why some people were frustrated, and I totally understand why so many people didn't like it. I think a lot of it was just not understanding. Certain storylines had to be tied up. A lot of it was just like, it was a little bit rushed, and some of the ways that the different plot lines tied up were not satisfying, and maybe they'll get flushed out a little bit more in the books. You know, the truth is there's a lot that was not fleshed out in the TV show as it was in the books, you know? For instance, the whole storyline of Dorne. And Dorne was like such a multifaceted world. It had such a complex history and a complex like way of ruling. It had a really complex politics, and the way Dorne interacted with the rest of the world was so interesting, and the power dynamics in the society were so interesting, and we just barely kind of touched upon that in the TV show rather than the books. So I'm really excited to read more of the books too. So that is it, guys. That is all I really want to talk about. Let me know down in the comments below what things you were loving in this month of March. May. The month of May. I didn't actually do a ton of makeup this month, so I don't really have any makeup favorites, but I think next month in June I'm going to have a lot more makeup favorites. Make sure to follow me on Instagram, because I'm posting every day on Instagram new looks, lots of colorful looks inspired by Pride Month, and I'm also continuing on with my 100 Days of Makeup project, and I hope to keep you guys updated on my work too. This season, late spring, early summer is a really busy season for makeup and face painting, so I'm posting a lot of my work. If you're interested in seeing what the day-to-day life of a makeup artist is like, it could be interesting for you to follow me on Instagram for those reasons. Be sure to subscribe to this channel. I'm getting really close to 1,000 subscribers, and I'm hoping to host a giveaway when I reach 1,000 subscribers. So if you want to be part of that giveaway, subscribe to this channel and maybe you can win some stuff. That'd be cool, right? Also, stay subscribed, because I hope to share some more makeup artist content soon. I hope to be posting a video about my makeup kit really soon. I've had some more requests recently to see my makeup kit, and it's also that time of year. It's like prom and wedding season, so I feel like it'd be really helpful for all the other artists out there in the world to see different artists' makeup kits. I love watching those videos myself. So, and until next time, I hope you liked hanging out with me. I really liked hanging out with you. And until next time, cheers. Bye.